All right, thrilling Thursday. We're going to do some review things. Again, taking back, we talked about spiral review earlier this year, just making sure we keep some of these concepts fresh in our minds as we progress through the school year. You guys have made huge gains in what you have learned this school year, and we're really, really proud of what you've done. So we're going to bounce back to the wonderful land of exponents. And there were some rules with exponents that were really special. When you multiply, and you're going to hear that phrase, it's probably going to be stuck in your brain. Keep the base. Then add your exponents. Keep the base and add your exponents. For example, this one says to multiply. You want to regroup everything to be with people that they're alike. For example, all of your coefficients. The numbers out front of the variable should be multiplied together. Then we want to group all of the same bases together. So y and y squared. We also want to loop together our w's. W to the 6th and w to the 5th. With your coefficients, you actually multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 2 would be 48. When you multiply with exponents, keep the base, which is a y, and we have to add our exponents. Don't forget, this one has a 1. 1 plus 2. Keep the base, which is a w, 6 plus 5. So our final answer would be 48, y to the 3rd, w to the 11th. All right, second rule. When you raise a power to a power, that's like an exponent on an exponent, you multiply the exponents. We're going to multiply the exponents. So for example, this one, our squared, or our 2 exponent on the outside, needs to be shared with everything on the inside. It's like that distribution in exponent format. -9 is squared, b is squared, and a to the 2nd is squared. That exponent on the outside needs to go with everything on the inside. Now remember, your calculator doesn't always work well with exponents and negatives, so you have to understand how to do this. -9 squared. Notice I put the negative in my parentheses. -9 times -9. So remember, a -9 times a -9 is actually a positive 81. Now, technically inside these parentheses, this b has a 1 power. So we would take, keeping the base, 1 times 2. Keeping our base of a, 2 times 2. So our final answer would be 81, b to the 2nd, a to the 4th. Don't forget to share that one. Your calculator is not always going to understand those negatives. Remember that. Be cautious. The final exponent rule that we learned, there's actually 2 in 1. When you divide, keep the base. And we're going to subtract the exponents. And the reason I say that there's actually 2 here is we can't have negative exponents. Okay? We can't have negatives in our final answer. So for an example of this, I have a divided by a to the 6th. We know we're dividing because we have a fraction bar here. So we really have an a to the 1st. So we keep our base a. We take our top exponent, 1 minus 6. 1 minus 6 is -5. Now, you cannot provide an answer with a negative exponent. So we remind ourselves this is in the top of the fraction. we take the base with the negative exponent and move it to the opposite location of our fraction. And when we move it down to the denominator, it actually becomes a positive 5. It leaves behind a 1. Now remember, if you wound up with something like a to the negative second, b to the third, it's all over 1, you would only have to move the a. So b to the third would stay on top, a to the second would go to the bottom and become positive. Don't forget your rules. Sometimes, many times, your calculator is actually more problems than it's actually worth when it comes to exponents. Go ahead and try your first few problems on Thrilling Thursday's homework.